Hello trainers, Kaneto here, and today we are diving together into Mountain Cup with 4 teams around Whiscash. Whiscash is gonna be a generalist for this meta that I think is gonna be around a lot, so let's see how well those teams can adapt not only to the meta but also to your hands, because we're gonna analyze their strongest assets and their core breakers so that you can have a better understanding of the meta, how to use those teams and what you should be afraid of. Up on the lead for the first team showcase, out of the total 4, we're gonna have Diggersby. So with Diggersby on your team, not only you get bulk but also you get a spammy moveset on that Fire Punch, and of course you can always use either Earthquake or Hyper Beam as your second move. I believe that Hyper Beam is gonna help you with some flyers, while Earthquake is gonna be used mainly for coverage against steel types. And if you're thinking, Ganeto, I still got Fire Punch for the steel types, well, that is not gonna work towards your advantage. You still need coverage with big damage, and Earthquake is there for you. At the back we have the Walrus as our safe switch, and this Pokemon is gonna be part ice, part water, so every other Pokemon like this, like the Dugong and the Lapras, you can always use them for the same position. They're gonna be extremely safe to use in the meta, but we're gonna hold our Walrein here only because it is kinda spammier with those Icicle Spears. You can always replace it with the other two, so feel free to do so if you do not have a Walrein ready to go. I believe that Lapras might be a kind core breaker for this line, but still Cradily might do the extra mile over there, especially with its moveset that can threat pretty much anything on this team. With the Stone Edges for that Walrein, they got the Grass Knot for Diggersby, and of course the one shot against the Whiscash, so here is something that you definitely need to take care of when you are playing a team like this. However, you can still do a lot of work with the Blizzard, with the Icicle Spear, or even stay in with your Diggersby, because Diggersby with Excels is even thicker than you imagine. This team is super strong and I recommend it to you, so let's see now what the next one is gonna be. Drumroll please! And it is another Whiscash line. This is a Whiscash video after all. What a surprise, right? So we're gonna use it up on the lead this time, and Whiscash up on the lead is gonna get a lot of wonderful good scenarios for you, especially with the steel types being around, and even against the grass type, which is the worst case scenario, you still have the Blizzard, which can easily be turned as a real nice nuke for that Pokemon eventually towards the end of the battle if you can play this team correctly, because your main safe switch is gonna be the Berserker, while the closer is gonna be the Gliscor, which means that Abomasnow might be a problem upon the lead. But as you can see, Abomasnow can still be dealt with this team. Just feel free to go with your Berserker anytime you are gonna be in a bad situation, and Berserker is most definitely gonna take some shields out of the way. Even against a fighter, you have 2 pressure for that shield, while you can still tank 1 power punch or those counters from a Scavalier that you can be on a very good spot overall. The power punch was for the Lucario, okay? And about Berserker, if you happen to encounter something like a red steel like I do over here, do not be afraid to use your close combats. Go for it. The lock-ons will still do no damage to you, and trust me, you want to use your close combat before you get that Zap Cannon debuff on your side. Gliscor is gonna be an amazing option, and even against Abomasnow, which is the core breaker, you still have a lot of play with those wing attacks and the night slashes, and I think for this cap you need Earthquake over Aerial Ace or whatever, because it is gonna help you a lot against the steel types, and since you are only having night slash and wing attacks, yeah, Earthquake is definitely gonna be needed for that matter. This line is super strong and I recommend to you trainers for sure. Whiscash is leading another line for the next team showcase, and we're having double steel at the back. So Skarmory is gonna be used here as our closer, while our red steel is gonna do a lot of work as our safe switch. Up on the lead, the Whiscash is doing tremendous amount of work, once again being a huge generalist against the meta, and that's why I'm making this video, because I want to showcase to you the capabilities of this Pokemon. At the back, the red steel is gonna apply a lot of pressure with its charge attacks, and this is the main theme of this line. The charge attacks are gonna do a lot of of work against the meta, and of course Zap Cannon is gonna be there for you to debuff the enemy. Feel free to use something like a Flash Cannon if you feel like you have to, but I think that Focus Blast has to be your primary option overall, because Focus Blast is gonna help you against ice and rock types in total. At the back we also have Skarmory, which can pressure a lot with those sky attacks, and eventually the Brave Bird for big damage pretty much against anything that isn't a steel type Pokemon. As a core breaker, I have decided to add the Wall Rain only because of its amazing typing and the Earthquake, because Wall Rain can still kinda have a soft win against Whiscash, can go toe to toe up against Skarmory, and of course with the Earthquake can always threat a Registeel, but still you have options against this Pokemon, so it is a soft core breaker, just that I haven't found anything else to replace my Wall Rain over here as a core breaker. Escavalier up in front, Frostlass at the back, and Whiscash as our closer for the final team showcase, and we're having Escavalier with a lot of pressure, able to do a lot of general damage even against its counters. Let's say something like a Skarmory or something like a Whiscash, you can still pressure a lot with the counters and the potential Drill Run. You might want to consider running Aerial Ace over Megahorn because it's gonna help you more against certain threats, especially the Glybros, but other than that, yeah, your Drill Run is gonna be your main way to go pretty much against anything. Skarmory might be a core breaker for this line, but it's a very soft one. As you can see, you are having only soft loss against this Pokemon, and overall you have a lot of options up against it. As a safe switch, we have the Frostlass, which can do tremendous amount of work with its moveset. You already know how crazily good Frostlass might be from the Sylph caps or from the special caps of Go Battle League. This Pokemon is gonna get you there to the moves back to back pretty easily, and the opponent will be left with their mouths open when you even outspeed them to the next charge attack. As a closer, we have once again our Whiscash, because we have already said it, this is a Whiscash video after all, and of course with Blizzard you have nothing to wonder at the back, because even a grass type can be one-shotted down by a Mad Boy, which is always crazy. I like this team a lot, I recommend it to you trainers, and that is gonna wrap things up for today's video. I believe that Whiscash has a lot of potential in the Mountain Cup meta, and that's why I made this video overall just for you. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!